Hey guys, so I just went and saw Morbius tonight. So every time I saw a swarm of bats in this movie, I kept waiting for Batman to appear and I had to remind myself, this isn't a Batman movie, this is Morbius. I'm like still in a Batman DC state of mind, so I need to swap to a Marvel state of mind. So anyway, this is my spoiler review. We're going to talk about a possible sequel and the two end credit scenes. So before we get into that, don't worry, I'm not going to go into the whole like, subscribe thing. You guys know the drill by now. I'm just going to say there's a lot of stuff that I'm not covering in this review because I've already talked about it in my other review. So if you want to see some more of that stuff, go check out my spoiler-free review. So anyway, we have Dr. Morbius in this movie. He has found a cure for his sickness. So basically he's been sick his whole life. And he has this friend played by Matt Smith, Loxius Crown. So I'm just going to call him Crown because that is a weird name to say. So he's sick as well. They're both really, really intelligent men who have been looking for a cure. So when Morbius finally finds the cure and denies it to his friend Crown, Crown is really upset, which is, to play devil's advocate, it's sort of understandable, to be honest, that he would be upset. So basically, he steals the antidote and he takes it himself and he goes from dying to being really strong like Morbius. And you know, I can just sort of see where he's coming from in this movie. You know, I always end up understanding the villain's point of view and I don't really want to look too deeply into... I just knocked over my microphone. Oops. I don't really want to go too deep into why that is. Why can I identify with the villains? But, you know, if I had a best friend who had the cure to this disease that I was dying from and said no, you know, you would get upset. And obviously Morbius said why he shouldn't take it. But still, like, if Morbius was able to control himself, it stands to reason that he should have given Crown the benefit of the doubt to maybe he could control himself as well. But then again, Morbius was worried throughout the whole movie that he couldn't control himself, that he was drinking substitute blood. And as soon as he went off the substitute blood, he was afraid of what he would turn into. So anyway, we have Crown turning into the main antagonist, and he wants Morbius to cave and drink human blood, not substitute blood like him. So he kills Morbius's girlfriend, Martine. But we see blood goes in her mouth, Morbius's blood, and she survives. So she turns into a vampire, but I don't know if it's going to be a living vampire like Morbius or some sort of like undead vampire. So Morbius doesn't find out in this movie that she's alive, so he feeds on her and goes to fight Crown, full of human blood and strong. So basically Crown, he just gets really corrupted by the power because he goes from being weak to strong and it's just gone to his head. And the way that I see it is he wants to bring Morbius down to his level. And I have a friend that I was going to this movie with and she didn't really get that aspect of it, and I can see why. It was a little hard to follow. Why Morbius's best friend suddenly went to being this villain and killing everybody. And I feel like they could have fleshed it out a little more with a bit more dialogue to drive the point home that this guy has obviously, despite being rich and very intelligent and good looking and having all these advantages in life, he's been extremely sick. So he's felt weak and now he's incredibly strong. So the power's just gone to his head. Well, that's the way I see it. Anyway, if you see it a different way, let me know. So anyway, they have this fight. And Morbius can control sound waves and bats, and he uses that power to create this whole swarm of bats. And I kept thinking, Batman's gonna come. So he uses that and poison to kill Crown. So then we go to the post-credit scenes where there is two, like I said. So in the first one, Vulture. So he is a prisoner, and he, because of the whole multiverse event, gets put into this universe. He just suddenly appears in prison, and they're deciding whether or not they're going to release him. And they obviously do, or he manages to escape, because in scene 2, he's got his suit on, and he goes to meet Morbius and talks about teaming up to take down Spider-Man. And I don't really get that, because I don't get why my Morbius is a Spider-Man villain, because in this movie he's basically a good guy. Well, an anti-hero. Why would he want Spider-Man dead? Let me know down below. I'm really curious. So they obviously set it up for a sequel, and it just feels completely unnecessary and generic. Honestly, I'm way more excited about Doctor Strange 2. Look, this wasn't a horrible movie. It just feels like a bunch of cliches thrown together. It feels like something we've seen so many times before and done better. So let me know down below what you thought of the movie, and if you could subscribe, like, all of that stuff. If you got any value out of this, I would really appreciate it.